March 27, 1999, a $43 million U.S. Air Force F-117A Nighthawk stealth bomber. The aircraft the Pentagon had declared could never be found, never be tracked, and never be shot down, took a direct missile hit over Serbian airspace, broke apart mid-flight, and rained burning wreckage across the farmland northwest of Belgrade. Not shot down by an S-400, not neutralized by a hypersonic interceptor, not defeated by any cutting-edge adversary system. It was destroyed by a Soviet-designed surface-to-air missile system with its blueprints finalized in 1961. A system so old it predates the Apollo program. A system NATO intelligence had formally classified as an insignificant threat. This is Tactical Trace. We don't worship the tech tree. We only ask one question: does it work? To understand that night in 1999, you need to understand what the F-117A represented inside the American military's self-image. This wasn't just an aircraft. It was a philosophy, made of metal and radar-absorbing composite. The physical proof that the United States had solved the problem of air defense forever. The F-117's appearance alone tells you everything about its design priorities. No smooth curves, no aerodynamic elegance, just sharp, angular facets and bizarre geometric cuts that look like they belong in a science fiction film. Every surface angle was calculated to deflect radar waves away from the emitting antenna rather than bounce them back. The result was a radar cross-section, the RCS, the measure of how visible an aircraft is to radar, estimated at somewhere between 0.001 and 0.01 square meters. That is roughly the radar signature of a golf ball. Some estimates say a marble. To put that in perspective, a conventional fighter aircraft returns an RCS of 1 to 5 square meters. The F-117 was, on paper, effectively invisible to the radar systems of that era. This wasn't theoretical. The 1991 Gulf War turned the F-117 into a living legend. Flying without fighter escort, it penetrated the most heavily defended airspace on Earth, downtown Baghdad, with complete impunity. Not a single aircraft was shot at. Not one radar lock was achieved. Pilots described the experience as walking through someone's living room while they stare right through you. The Nighthawk came home every single night, untouched, undetected, unmolested. By 1999, the myth was total. F-117 pilots flew with the deep institutional confidence that their aircraft's technology had already won any engagement before it began. Mission briefings emphasized the same core message. Your aircraft is invisible. Enemy air defenses are obsolete. Fly the assigned route. Fly the assigned route. Remember those 4 words. They are the entire story. On the other side of this equation stood Lieutenant Colonel Zoltan Dani, commander of the 3rd Battalion of the Serbian Air Defense Forces. He was 46 years old, a career military officer, and he was working with a system that his own chain of command had largely written off as irrelevant against modern NATO airpower. The S-125 Neva, NATO designation SA-3 Goa, was a second-generation Soviet surface-to-air missile system. The design was finalized in 1961. It used analog radar technology, had limited range compared to modern systems, and its anti-jamming capabilities on paper were poor. Western intelligence assessed it as essentially incapable of engaging a stealth target. The logic was straightforward. If the radar can't detect the aircraft, the missile can't chase what it can't see. The F-117 would simply be invisible to everything Dani had. What the intelligence assessment didn't model was the man himself. Dani understood something with complete clarity from the first day of the war. In a straight technical confrontation, he would lose. The moment his radar came online, American EA-6B Prowler electronic warfare aircraft would detect and suppress it. The moment his position was exposed, AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missiles, specifically designed to home in on active radar emissions, would be on their way within minutes. Fighting the way the system was designed to be used would be suicide, so he refused to fight that way. Dani made 3 decisions, each simple on its own, but devastating in combination. Decision 1. Absolute electromagnetic silence. He ordered his unit into near-total electronic silence. Radars off, communications minimized. No emissions, no signatures, no detectable presence. For weeks, U.S. electronic warfare systems found almost nothing to lock onto. You cannot jam a system that isn't transmitting. You cannot target a radar that never turns on. Decision 2. Modify the radar frequency. This was Dani's critical technical insight. The S-125 standard operating mode used higher frequency centimeter wave radar, exactly the frequency range that the F-117's stealth geometry was optimized to defeat. But Dani and his technicians reconfigured the system to operate at lower frequencies, in the meter wave band. Here is the physics that matters. Stealth technology works by using precise geometric shaping and radar-absorbing materials to redirect or absorb incoming radar waves. But this optimization is frequency-dependent. When the wavelength of the radar wave approaches the physical dimensions of the aircraft structure, as happens with low-frequency meter wave radar, something called the resonance effect occurs. The stealth geometry stops working as designed. The aircraft's surface begins to scatter radar energy in unpredictable ways, and the RCS climbs dramatically. The F-117's wingspan was approximately 13 meters. Meter wave radar wavelengths fall right into the range where resonance effects degrade stealth performance significantly. In front of Dani's modified radar, the F-117 was not a marble. It was a detectable object in the sky, not precisely locatable. Meter wave radar lacks the resolution for accurate missile guidance. But Dani didn't need precision. He needed a direction and an approximate position. The rest was patience and geometry. Decision 3. Wait for the window. This is the most tactically brilliant element of the entire operation. The F-117 is a bomber. To drop its weapons, it must open its bomb bay doors. And every time those doors open, the aircraft's carefully engineered stealth profile is catastrophically disrupted. A large internal cavity is suddenly exposed to the outside world, and the RCS spikes sharply for several seconds. Those few seconds were the F-117's only moment of real vulnerability. Dani planned to be ready for exactly that moment. Throughout the early weeks of Operation Allied Force, F-117 mission planning followed predictable patterns. For reasons of logistics, airspace deconfliction, and operational efficiency, aircraft regularly flew similar approach routes within similar time windows over similar geographic coordinates. This wasn't a secret that required sophisticated intelligence to uncover. It was an observable, recurring pattern, and Dani observed it. His unit built a low-technology information collection network. Ground observers, local civilian reports, notes on aircraft sounds, and approximate headings. Night by night, piece by piece, he assembled a predictive model. He couldn't see the F-117. He didn't need to see it. He needed to know where it would be and when. After weeks of silent observation, he had his answer. On the night of March 27, 1999, F-117A, serial number 82-0806, call sign Vega 31, piloted by Lieutenant Colonel Dale Zelko, completed its bombing run on targets near Belgrade and turned for home. The bomb bay doors had just closed. Dani gave the order. After weeks of silence, the S-125 fire control radar came online at full power. In the low-frequency band, the returning signal from the Nighthawk was weak, unstable, but it was there. It was enough. From radar activation to missile launch, approximately 15 seconds, 2 SA-3 missiles ignited and climbed into the night sky. The radar warning receiver in Zelko's cockpit finally screamed an alert, but the missiles were already airborne. The F-117, with its rigid stealth geometry and highly limited maneuvering capability, had almost no viable options. Its long, fragile wings were designed for sustained, high-altitude cruise, not violent, evasive action. Aggressive maneuvering risked structural failure before the missile ever arrived. One missile detonated close enough. The fragmentation warhead tore through the fuselage. The world's first combat-deployed stealth aircraft spiraled out of the Serbian sky in flames. Zelko ejected successfully and was recovered by U.S. search and rescue forces. Dani's battalion suffered 0 casualties. It would be tempting, and wrong, to read this story as simply old technology beats new technology. That framing misses the entire point. This was 2 separate American failures colliding to produce a single catastrophic outcome. Failure 1. Intelligence arrogance. The U.S. intelligence community assessed the S-125 as an ineffective threat because they modeled what the system could do when operated conventionally by an average crew. They never seriously wargamed what a smart, creative, patient commander could extract from that same system when he abandoned the conventional playbook entirely. They didn't underestimate the weapon, they underestimated the man. Failure 2. Tactical laziness. The F-117 stealth was real. It worked. But stealth is not invincibility. It is a technology that makes detection significantly harder, not permanently impossible. The moment mission planners began routinely flying the same aircraft along the same routes at the same times, they converted the adversary's problem from "how do I find an undetectable target" into "how do I wait at a known intersection for a target that shows up on schedule." That is not a stealth problem. That is a hunting problem. And Dani was a hunter. Dani himself said it plainly in a post-war interview. "They thought I could not see them, but you don't need to see a man to know where he will be." The outcome of that night over Serbia was not determined by which system had the better technical specifications. It was determined by a commander who sat in silence for weeks, conserving every advantage, waiting for one single moment of opportunity, against an opponent who had grown comfortable treating the sky like his own private highway. In warfare, arrogance is never a tactic. Arrogance is a last will and testament.